All right, good evening, everybody. We have a regular meeting of the City Council of the City of Cape May. We are here in the Cape May City Hall Auditorium. Today is Tuesday, October 15th, 2024. The time is now 5:04. Please join me for the Pledge of Allegiance. Thank you.
Under the Open Public Meetings Law, notice of this meeting was sent to the Cape May County Herald and the Press of Atlantic City, and a copy of the agenda was delivered to each member of City Council and posted on the Cape May City website and Cape May City Hall Bulletin Board. Notice is hereby provided that Cape May City Council meetings are audio recorded and/or video streamed live. Live video streams are posted to the Cape May City website. The City of Cape May is not responsible if audio recording or live video streaming of a meeting is unavailable. Roll call. Deputy Mayor Baldwin?
Here.
Councilmember McDade?
Here.
Councilmember Meyer?
Here.
Mayor Mellick?
Here.
Councilmember Yeager?
Here.
City Solicitor Gillen Schwartz?
Here.
City Manager Dietrich?
Here.
Deputy Manager Riggs?
Here.
And Council, I believe we have a few additions and deletions to the agenda tonight, if you'd like me to go through those.
Please.
All right, so first we are going to remove Resolution 280-10, 2024. This is a resolution recognizing the service of the Honorable Louis J. Velasco Jr. as the Cape May City Municipal Court Judge. The judge is not able to be with us tonight, so we're going to remove that for a future date, and we'll recognize him when he's available. And then we have two additions. We have 293-10, 2024, a resolution authorizing group enrollment with AmeriHealth and EB Employee Solutions, LLC, the difference card for all active and retired city employees. And 294-10, 2024, resolution amending scheduled council meeting date for the year 2024.
Do I have a motion?
I'll make that motion, Mayor.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Roll call?
Councilmember Yeager?
Yes.
Councilmember Meyer?
Yes.
Councilmember McDade?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Baldwin?
Yes.
Mayor Mullick?
Yes.
All right.
Paul, do we
Yes.
have the Employee of the Month?
I'm going to discuss it. Unfortunately, the employee had some things come up and could not make it to the meeting, but I didn't want to delay it in another meeting, so I did want to recognize her. So this month, we have our Employee of the Month is Marie Bagnaro. She's works in the Public Works Department in the Building Services section. She's actually a seasonal employee, but she's been working for the city for 9 years. So, even though, it's still a long-term employee and, her fellow employees felt that she rose to the occasion to be recognized. And I just, where's my sheet? And if you've noticed, she's been this year, she's been doing the cleaning here at City Hall, where she was assigned. So you probably, if you were inside the City Hall during the day, you probably saw Marie cleaning up and probably saw her, her great attitude. She always is seen as cheering up her coworkers and really willing to do anything that some of the office staff, hey, can you help here? Can you help clean up there? She's always Johnny on the spot and really helpful. So that was Marie Bagnaro was our Employee of the Month this year, or month.
That's great. Thank you, Marie. Any updates? Old business, City Manager?
Yes, I have several, and most of them revolve around construction projects that we've got getting ready to go. So upcoming, most likely, I believe it maybe the first week in November, there's going to be a little activity here at City Hall where the City Hall parking lot is going to be getting reconstructed. So, obviously, if you're coming here to do business at the City Hall, you're not going to be able to park in a lot. And all of our city employees are going to be getting their extra steps in because we're going to have to park a little bit far away and get here a little bit earlier and get some steps in. So I'll keep that obviously updated on the website. But obviously, if you're coming to City Hall that week and probably about a month, you're probably going to have to not be able to utilize the City Hall parking lot.
Paul, just to add to that, obviously a nice benefit, there's going to be, I think,
Eight additional parking spaces here at City Hall, so that's going to be a good thing.
And is it still 3 handicap on the street, side street?
So I haven't finalized that, but yeah, we're going to be looking at along where the library side is to be able to add some additional handicap possible parking along that side, just to have some more drop-off in spots for the library. But which that may involve, because of the width, creating that as a one-way, possibly. But we're going to be evaluating that as that project moves forward.
Paul, will that be in play at the night of the council meeting?
October 29th?
No, it won't start until after the October 29th
Okay.
meeting, but we'll have to see. It could impact the second meeting in November. Yes.
Thank you. Sorry to interrupt. Thank you.
No worries. The next construction project for an update is the repaving of Washington Street. And this is from Ocean to Sydney, so the whole length, the week of October 28th. Should take about 3 days. So that's starting on that Monday. Obviously, weather depending. Through traffic will not be permitted. So essentially, if you recall, what we did on Lafayette Street, that was closed and everybody used Washington. We're just doing the reverse. Obviously, this is just a mill and resurface, so we're talking about 3 days. It's not a year and a half of reconstruction. This is just 3 days of milling and paving. During the milling, it'll be easy. Local residents will have no problem getting in and out. Obviously, the next day and a half, paving operations, they will restrict access down Washington for residents only. And we'll have that posted on our website and social media. And we did have 2 projects going out to bid this week, and that is the nature trails behind Lafayette Street Park. And then I'll say, I don't know what phase we want to call it now, but the new phase 1 for Lafayette Street Park, it's the section closest to the school, which would include the reconstructed dog park, the open ball area, and the bocce ball courts, as well as a sidewalk that would then connect from Lafayette Street Park back towards the nature trails to kind of connect that all together. And again, those plans are on the city's website if you want to take a look at the details of those projects. But they're just going out to bid right now.
What day do they go out to bid, Paul?
They're going out to bid they're advertised on tomorrow or Thursday? Wednesday.
I believe they should be active tomorrow.
Perfect. Thank you.
Today's Tuesday.
And that's all I had for updates tonight.
Okay. And then I think most people here know about the nature trails, but that's really exciting. And I think all the hard work of getting it to this point and getting it out to bid, obviously that needed a DEP and a CAFRA permit for the nature. It's 2 miles of nature trails, so that'll go basically behind Lafayette Street Park. Most people don't even recognize that there's a saltwater marsh back there, but it's actually very lovely, and I think it'll be a wonderful place to enjoy nature. So thank you, Paul, and everyone up here who was involved, and all the volunteers. City Solicitor?
I don't have anything to report, Mayor. Thank you.
City Council? We like when the attorneys don't have anything to report, so. City Council, any updates or old business? No? Okay. And we are not going to honor the Honorable Louis Belasco today, but we always do, so we will get him next time. And on to public portion. Anyone wishing to speak on resolutions only right now? Resolutions, anyone wishing to speak on resolutions, please come to the microphone, state your name and address.
Stacy Shan, 928 Columbia Avenue. I have a question about the shared service agreement with Cumberland County, Resolution 282-10. My question is, Cumberland County's not next door, so can somebody explain how this shared service is going to work and what actually it's for? Because from what I'm reading, it has to do with engineering. I thought we hired a city engineer.
It's a good question.
Sure. This project is it's for construction management services for as part of when we get going on constructing the police station building. If you recall, you might have seen a authority car in the parking lot over the last year and a half in the Cape May City parking lot. Well, that's because the authority had a construction management over at the Franklin Street School. The Cape May County uses them as part of their construction management team. So they were on site every day as part of the inspection of the Franklin Street School. They were up at Rio Grande as part of the reconstruction of the social services area, and they're working over, I think, at the airport now at some of the county rehab. So they're integrally involved in the rehab of that. So that's kind of how we got connected to them. So yeah, they are from Cumberland County. As part of their utility authorities, they have the shared service where they do a lot of construction management in Cumberland County, and they've kind of expanded their services outside of that, and they've found that they can keep full-time staff working in Cape May, Atlantic, and Cumberland counties and cover the different projects. But they also bring an extra benefit when people bring them on early on in the design phase of the project, and that's kind of why people are saying, well, why are you starting construction management? We don't even have a shovel in the ground kind of a thing. What they do is they offer services to start during the design phase, and they help because they not only oversee construction of projects, they also manage building services once projects are open. And so they have that unique ability of understanding how buildings need to be managed and functioned and what works and what doesn't work. So they help on the design phase and work with our architect and our engineers to help us prepare a good set of bid specifications and plans so that not only can they be refined and retuned so that they're designed not just from a, hey, does this work from an engineering or an architect function, but is it going to be a good functioning building and be cost effective us moving forward. So when we looked at it, we felt that this was a good expenditure of money to make sure that we design this building properly, it's managed properly from a construction phase, to have somebody on site every day that can make management decisions, not just kind of there to take some pictures and say, hey, this was done, and kind of record stuff, but they would be the city's eyes and ears and be able to make on-site decisions and communications with the city during construction.
And they'll be here on a regular basis during the construction?
They'll be here on a daily basis during, and it's a set fee. They base it on the preliminary estimate of what the budget estimate is. So if, regardless of what price the bids come in, their fee is their fee, and that fee that they charge is significantly less than what a typical engineer or an architect would charge based as a percentage of what the bid price would be.
Okay, so my other question is, so this is for $210,000, and are we starting to pay a fee to them now? Or even though we don't have the land yet to build the building?
Can I just point out one thing, too? This would, because I've heard, we've had this conversation before, this is what you may call, too, a clerk of the works. So this is someone who's going to document the entire thing, so not just construction management, but documentation of the entire process. But your question is valid, obviously, starting to pay for someone before a project starts. But
Well, no, not before it starts, but we don't even have the approval to build it yet. So we don't even have the land to build this project, but we're going to be paying this guy to do this work.
Well, we have preliminary approval from the DEP, so we do have some approval, just to be clear. But this, we did ask them about I think the cost at this point is
It's
14?
similar to the architect's contract for the police station. This is a phased approach, a phased fee based on progress. So the first 25% covers this initial mobilization, development, design development, construction documents, procurement phase, excuse me. So we're not getting ahead of our skis, much like the architect's contract. We're doing this on a phased approach. The city manager is going to be monitoring the progress, and it's only, the next phase will go based on a notice to proceed once we cross each milestone. So it's not 210 out the door, it's 25%, let's get started. And if for some reason, some unlikely event, it doesn't proceed beyond that, the city's not on the hook for 210. It's based on the amount of work that they've done and the phase that we're in.
And that initial fee is 17,500, and that's just to help us through this design phase so that they can, work with our architect and help make sure that we're designing the best building.
Yeah, I know with the firehouse, we actually paid the architect to do a lot of this. Is he being paid also the same idea that he was before with that?
We'll scale back some of the architect's scope. And really, the architect they did some contract management, but they didn't do day-to-day.
Right, but it was in their agreement, and they did get paid extra for something like that.
The architect is necessary to review the work pursuant to the plans and certify that it's completed. This is providing actually a different service in that it's an independent management consultant that's going to come in and help with execution of the job and with a fee that's really tied to progress. The last payment's withheld until we get a final CO. So there may be some things that need to be done, but there's money tied to that so that the city's paying for progress.
Okay. My next question has to do with the addition of the resolutions. The amended council meeting, what day is that amended to?
October 29th. Obviously, we were going to bring, put that on the agenda. But yeah, October 29th.
October 29th. It's moved from November to October
From
29th.
November 6th, so there won't be a meeting November 6th. There will be a meeting October 29th, Tuesday.
Okay.
Yep.
And the
5 PM too, by the way. Yep.
Okay. This ties into resolution for the cancellation of the state health benefits and I guess the mayor health that you're going with. I'm assuming it's for cost, that you found out that you can get better cost. How much would the city be saving with going to AmeriHealth versus the state?
So you realize how important this one is, so we'd like to introduce it, and then I'd be happy to take any questions on it.
Okay, just so you allow us back up here, 'cause sometimes you don't allow us back
Absolutely,
up.
absolutely.
Okay.
And let me just say, before the next thing, back to the construction, because, look, we don't want to spend money when we don't have to. I hope people see it as a good thing. We want to hire this construction management consultant. We did negotiate the prepayment. I think typically they're twice what
Twice what they,
charged us,
they usually
which
get
isn't-
0.5%, and they're
Right.
only charging us 0.25%.
They're charging us 0.25% to get started. Obviously, a municipal entity like that typically doesn't negotiate very much with their fees. They were flexible on that. But I just hope people do see this as a positive thing. We really, on an important project like this, want to have a clerk of the works. We want to have someone who's reviewing the contracts, obviously the daily operations of the construction. And frankly, we had a very good experience with them for the library. They were there every day, and they represent us. They will represent the taxpayer in regards to working with the contractors and all of those things. So we have someone in our corner that I feel is really important. I didn't want to just gloss over that. I mean, I hope people recognize we're doing that. We're spending a little extra money, but I think in the long run, it'll be money well spent.
My next question, it's a brief one. It's 284, the speakers, I guess this is the speakers on the beach, another $20,000 for the speakers. What happens why was there an emergency to replace or for $20,000 with these speakers?
Well, unfortunately, it's that somebody broke one of the wires. They had to make a major repair, and so they had to do it as an emergency.
Were the wires underground?
Yeah,
And they still got broke?
yeah.
So the person that broke it, shouldn't we be going after them for the repairs?
It was a Department of Public Works employee.
Okay. I thought maybe it was
And
a,
it was a mistake. I mean, having said that, just so you know, they had GPS tracking of all of the wires now marked on the GIS, I believe. Is that correct? So corrective action has been taken to hopefully make sure that doesn't happen again.
okay. Somebody brought to my attention that they were concerned about the rusting of those speakers that were new on the beach. Should they be rusting already?
Justin, you want to talk about that?
So we have been extensively working with the vendor to obviously make sure that it's up to our specifications. Be more than glad if they take pictures. We've been out there, the OEM team, on countless days. I know people called in with, saying, hey, why is the speakers going crazy? Because we were testing them to try to get them back to, what we thought was better. And we are currently working with the vendor. The OEM team just met to try to figure out a plan to either A, take them off probably for the winter time. So we're working through that. So I'd be more than happy to look at specific ones, but we will be out there again to look at the speakers, and if they are rusting, we would take note and then work with the vendor again to say, hey, why is this happening?
Thank you.
Yep.
Jules Rouse, 1010 New York Avenue. I just on the same subject as the Cumberland County Improvement Authority. Will they be assigning a specific person or several people so that they don't end up with different engineers at different times?
Yes.
They typically would have one person assigned routinely to work the project.
In the information that was in the contract, will they continue to have project meetings with you and your staff?
Of course.
Will that be on some kind of a regular basis?
Yeah,
I
we
should
would have
pref-
regular project meetings as part of any major construction project like that. We'll
I
have-
should have prefaced, I've been before this body a number of times over the past years. I'm very much in support of management contract supervision. So this is not a criticism. I just want to make sure that the city gets a full measure. The only thing that is concerning is that you're going to be spending $17,500 now without having a firm contract with DEP on the exchange of the property.
Well, we feel, what we have from the DEP, see, the DEP works, the way the land diversion process works is you get preliminary approval. It's kind of like you're not like when you get married and you go and you have the ceremony, but you're not really married until you return that certificate back to the clerk's office, and then you're technically married, because if you don't return the certificate to the clerk's office and it gets lost, you're not married, right? Because it didn't get officiated. It's kind of the same thing like this. We've been to the ceremony, okay? We've gotten preliminary approval, but now we got to get that piece of paper to the clerk's office, and we got to get, just like on that form, marriage license, the officiant's got to sign it, your witness has got to sign it, and all those people have to sign it before you get it back to the clerk. We're going through that process of getting all those signatures on that piece of paper to get it back to the DP so that it can go to the state commissioner's house.
I hope that explanation gets back to the DEP. It was,
Well,
it was a lovely ceremony.
But I
About
think,
the- process.
I think it's a process, and
Yeah, no, it
and,
is.
so everybody thinks, oh, you don't have your approval yet. Yeah, we don't have the approval yet, but yeah, we do, because once you get to that step, and this is my other euphemism, it's like ivory pure, 99.9% pure. Yeah, we're right there, but do we have the approval? No, but we've got the approval. It's not going to get to this point and not get approved at the State House.
And if I could just add to
It just
that,
doesn't happen.
the alternative, not hiring these folks. We are pretty far along. We hired an architect. The architect has made a design. You've probably seen some of the preliminary designs. We want to make sure that those designs are reviewed now rather than later, and not have somebody look at it and say, hey, if we were included in this process through the design phase, we would have changed A, B, and C. We don't want to hear that later. We want them involved right now, especially at a $17,000 number, which is, look, nobody wants to spend $17,000 when they don't have to, but it's definitely, I think, a smart move to do.
Well, it's not just 17. You're going to have 50% of it paid out before you start construction, based on what I've seen.
And construction won't start unless we have
No, no, no.
approval.
You got the first phase is I wasn't aware of 17,500, but according to the contract, they get 25% at the signing of this contract, so that you've modified that already. And then another 25% when the bids are finished. So it isn't until after the bids.
When the city accepts a bid for the commencement of work, which means that we're in a position to put a shovel in the ground.
And we're not going to bid until we have,
50% of their fee will be paid to them before we put any shovel in the ground.
Only if the other 50% is going to come if the city accepts a bid for commencement of
Okay.
construction, when it's shovel-ready. And that's going to be precipitated by approvals, land in hand, everything that we're discussing right now. We're not going to go out to bid on something unless we're ready to dig.
I would hope not. I mean, we did that with the AME Church.
Well, we're not hoping that. That's not going to happen.
Okay.
We can't do that.
Will this contract have a performance maintenance bond to it?
No, you don't do performance maintenance bonds on, I mean, the construction project will. That's the only place you have performance maintenance bonds.
That's
On
what I'm
professional
referring
services, you don't have
No, but
performance.
will the project, when it's finished, have a performance maintenance bond?
Yes.
All capital projects have to have a performance and
Do
maintenance.
we have one on the firehouse?
Yes.
Yes.
To your incident, your story about the marriages, having been a real estate developer, you don't have anything until you can take your plans in and have them recorded and have a transfer of property and a transfer of money. Then you know you have a project approved. I still believe that we need to be careful how much money we spend before we actually have all the documents signed, sealed, delivered, and returned by DEP.
let me just, I agree with you totally. Nobody up here wants to spend money until we have to, believe me. But we can't go for permits without a plan. We have to have a plan to go for those permits. I want everyone to understand that. We wouldn't spend this money if we didn't have to. We can't say to the DEP, can we have an approval before we present them with something? I mean, so I hope you understand, we have to hire an architect to present the plans. We don't have to hire this person, but I think you agree it's smart to hire this person to review those plans. Those plans have to be approved by different authorities, including the DEP. So I just want to be clear, we're not like putting the cart before the horse. We have to have a plan to present.
Does DEP have to approve the building plan?
No.
Yes.
Before they approve the exchange of land?
No.
I think so.
But they've been asking all along, what are you doing with the land? They want to know. So does SHPO. SHPO wants to know, what are you going to do with, SHPO's part of the DEP, just to be clear. So the State Historic Preservation Office is in the DEP. They want to know what is the plan. So we will not have a SHPO approval without providing plans. And SHPO needs to review any public property, any public building that we do. So we can't go to SHPO and say we have an idea. Frankly, I wish we could. I would like them to be able to review an idea, and if it's an absolute no, then get that absolute no. But that's not how they function.
Fine.
And just, by the way, the city is much like the state in that way. When somebody wants to present a plan to the HPC, now, I appreciate that the HPC, and I think the city is actually a little bit more flexible than the state. You could probably approach the chairperson of the HPC and say, look, this is what I'm thinking. Do you have any thoughts on that? And they probably might give you some direction. We don't get a lot of direction from the state. They won't really talk about ideas. They want to see a plan. So we do the same thing with applications from anybody in Cape May. When you come before our boards, whether it be zoning or HPC, we want to see a plan, and that plan may be denied.
But one of the things that they do is this pre-application versus final application process. And the pre-application process is usually harder to navigate than the final. You don't get to this step unless you've flushed out all the objections and comments and critiques and things like this, and you almost have to guess to get to this point. the city wouldn't be taking this type of action. They wouldn't have authorized, architects' plans, an initial phase like this, unless they were confident that they've gotten to the point where, to use the city manager's analogy, maybe the NJDP's ready to kiss the project. So it's to that point where we're in the details phase of preparing it for a final application. And that's why I think the city might be confident and comfortable proceeding with something like this, which again is not 210 out the door. It's let's get started with reviewing the plans, maybe reviewing the bid specifications based on management experience, and maybe including things that might help the project advance or protect the city's interests. That's the type of feedback that I think the city would want for this upcoming project.
And can I also assume that the city will get as-built plans?
Of course.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Roush. Anyone else on resolutions this evening?
So I just want to comment my experience with doing facilities design and construction in a healthcare environment. When you were beginning to design, whether it be a building or an outpatient office or even, a hospital suite, you had the project manager was sitting at the table when you started the process. It wasn't you brought them in after you did the design or the construction. They were there from the very beginning. It was a critical person who was running the project, making sure all of the key principals were tasked to do what they needed to do, whether it be the architect, whether it be the construction company, whether or not it be the purchasing agent. So I'm very comfortable with this from my professional experience, because I think it speaks to the fact that we're looking at making sure that all of the I's and all are dotted and all the T's are crossed before shovels hit the ground. And you want to make sure that we've got everything in order. So the investment, which is how I see this from my perspective, is a good one. So I just wanted to add that.
Thank you.
I just want to interject. One of the things, I agree with some of the things Mr. Roush said, of course, and Ms. Machine, and their concerns are very valid. But one of the things I can tell you is from the onset or inception of this project with the mayor and city council, Mr. Yeager included, prior to Mr. Dietrich's arrival in the office and seat, we've been doing a lot of work behind the scenes with the architect, and it's actually given us a lot of headway ahead of this, because we knew the DEP was going to take a long time, down to the matter of door swings and how doors are supposed to swing. The one thing that Manager Dietrich tasked me to do as soon as he took office was to actually go to these meetings with the library. I was an observer. I sat in the trailer, the little trailer over there, and I watched Mario Garaguso and then the authority. They sat there and they would chime in. They were so analytical and so crucial on doorknobs and swings and how things moved, and they would catch things that the contractor was doing wrong before those change orders had to go into effect. I think it's a lot of money to put out for something like this, but as Ms. McDade has said as well, that those other fresh eyes, that third-party eyes looking upon this, and I learned a lot just by, I built my own home, but never built a building and a facility of that magnitude, and that was crucial to Manager Dietrich as far as watching what they were doing, they gave a detailed report weekly, and it was like, wow, they go overboard, you know what I mean, and they would catch things. So I do agree with their assessment, but I have to agree with the authority's ability of what I saw just as an onlooker going forward in the building that I'm going to be tasked with helping build, just as the police chief. But I do think it's a very good project to do, and I think to continue with the authority. So they do good work.
Thank you, Chief. Anyone else on resolutions this evening? Seeing none, we'll close public comment on resolutions and move on to the consent agenda.
Yes, council, is there anything you'd like to remove from the consent agenda tonight?
Anything, council? No?
I would recommend the payment of bills we had an amendment to. I don't know if council had the opportunity to review that. I had an amended resolution in front of you, if you'd like to take that separately.
That's fine, sure.
Yeah. So that's 291. But other than that, are we good for the consent agenda, council?
Yes.
Okay. So do we have a motion to adopt the consent agenda?
Do I have a motion?
I'll make the motion.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Roll call?
Councilmember Yeager?
Yes.
Councilmember Meyer?
Yes.
Councilmember McDade?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Baldwin? Yes. Mayor Mullick?
Yes.
All right, and so we have 291-10, 2024. This is the resolution for the payment of bills.
Point of order, Mr. Mayor, are we going to have the resolutions for the healthcare system separate in case anybody has any questions?
Yeah,
Did you
they
just
are,
do
they're
that?
on the regular
I might have
agenda.
just slowed down.
No worries, no, we'll definitely do those separately, thank you. So yes, just 291, the resolution for the payment of bills. There was a last-minute bill that was added today for payment for Hurlis Engineering. That was added, so if council is interested in amending to include that bill on the bill pay.
Do I have a motion?
I'll make the motion.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
And this is to add it to the resolution?
Yes.
Thank you. Roll call?
Councilmember Yeager?
Yes.
Councilmember Meyer?
Yes.
Councilmember McDade?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Baldwin?
Yes,
Mayor Mullick?
Yes. Do I have a motion on the resolution as amended?
I'll make a motion.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Roll call?
Councilmember Yeager?
Yes.
Councilmember Meyer?
Yes.
Councilmember McDade?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Baldwin?
Yes.
Mayor Mullick?
Yes.
All right, on to the added resolutions. We have 293-10, 2024, resolution authorizing group enrollment with AmeriHealth and EB Employee Solutions LLC, the difference card for all active and retired city employees.
Do I have a motion?
I'll make the motion.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
I know you probably have a couple questions or comments. First off, I just want to thank Councilwoman McDade. She and the city manager and deputy city manager, am I missing anyone really? And Kevin, our CFO, did a really wonderful job navigating this, which has been a few years really of work. And just to provide a little context, I believe it was 2021, it went up like 24%, the state health benefits. 12% last year. So the state health benefits have really been in bad shape, to be blunt. I don't know how much we want to talk about it publicly, but it's out there as the news. It's just what's really happening is a lot of the good accounts and the good municipalities that have, of course, seen as good in the insurance industry are leaving because they can get better rates outside the state health benefits. Of course, with the good accounts leaving, it's only making it worse within the state health benefits itself. So it really is trending, and it has been trending in a bad direction, and frankly, looks to be getting even worse. So City Council and this kind of task force that was put together put hours and hours and hours of work. And I have to say right from the beginning, most important was our employees, making sure that our retirees and our current employees were taken care of. Obviously, looking at it as a financial issue, because it is one, as those prices have just astronomically increased, looking out for the taxpayers as well. So with that, I want to just say thank you to Maureen, and anything that you want to add, Councilwoman McDade.
So just to give an overview, and I'm sure the city manager, the deputy city manager will join in, and we were facing another double-digit 16% increase from the state health benefit plan for 2025. So it became evident that we needed to look at an alternative. And as the mayor said, this really became about the fact that the claims risk and our risk pool was very positive. So to continue to be in a plan that was going to cost us more money, and that was not the claims experience we as an organization, the employees had.
Because of the good employees.
Exactly. So it really came down to what were the alternatives. We started this process in May, and we're working with two separate brokers to evaluate options, many hours, presentations, materials, information. And that was really done to make sure that we came out at the end of the day with a product that was going to be of quality for the employees and the retirees. This was not to detract from the coverage that they had, and in some ways, we've been able to enhance it. So this will net a savings for the city of about $800,000. It will also put an additional, approximately on average for an employee, average, I say, $1,600 for each employee back in their pocket. The plan is going to an AmeriHealth plan. Currently, the state health benefit plan is through Horizon. I've reviewed the provider directories and the health system coverage. It is comparable. These are both stand-up insurance companies. AmeriHealth is owned and operated by IBC in the Philadelphia market and has been in that market for greater than 25 years. It's quality, the physicians, the providers, they're all the same. But what this does is enable the city to be able to offer a plan, give some money back to the employees, as well as put some money back into the city, so that we can continue to offer additional benefits. And one of the things that we have evaluated is adding dental and vision insurance, something that the employees have not had to date, which is very attractive to them. So I think overall, we came out with a good product. The city manager and the deputy city manager did a wonderful presentation to the employees. It was very well received, and we're going to do everything, and my participation is whatever I can do to make sure this transition to this new insurance plan starting January 1 is both efficient and effective, and goes without hitch. So,
If I could, I really just want to thank the employees of the city on twofold. One, that they took the time to listen and review the proposal that we had, and really evaluate it. And they asked tough questions, and we tried to get them all the answers that we could, even some tough answers. We wrangled back and forth, and I think I only have one or two questions still to get back to employees. But I think I really want to thank the employees for being very attentive to that. And two, on the employee standpoint,
Right.
we were able to get good rates because the employees take good care of their health. Health care is important to everybody. We all have life things that go on. Like I said, if I wanted to talk to our 130-some employees, each one of them has a different medical story, whether it's them, their spouse, their dependents. Everybody's got a different thing going on. So it's not chocolate or vanilla. It's a whole suite of flavors out there, and everybody's got a concern, and that's why I think the choice is so hard. And I think they have made good choices. That's why our rates, I think we got a good price and good quote for our rates. But I just really want to thank the employees for really sitting down and being part of the conversation this time.
Please.
something else that we actually introduced, this was for the first time, was a benefits letter. Something to give the employees to sort of really show and illustrate. It was a document that I was used to having in my professional career, and worked with the city manager, deputy city manager, and the CFO to craft that. So it was for each individual employee. So it spoke to them, what their, income was, what their, how much this was going to cost them if they stayed in the state health benefit plan, and what savings they could realize for themselves and their family by moving to this new plan. So it really was trying to be as transparent as possible about it, and I think that was another important aspect to this. And it went to really the communication style that was illustrated and demonstrated by the city manager and the deputy city manager and the CFO.
So I again, thank you all very much, and echo your sentiments, City Manager Dietrich. Frankly, we would not be able to receive these savings if it weren't an attractive insurance policy, because we have employees that have been fair with it. So I thank the employees very much. And just to highlight that, I mean, it's an $800,000 savings per year. I mean, we don't know what it'll be next year, but hopefully it's pretty similar. And I would assume that it would be less of an increase than the state health benefits will be. Again, enforcing a $1,600 average savings per employee for the employees, not for us, but for the employees. Obviously, that's attractive. There's less co-pays within this policy. Just for an example, an emergency room right now on the state health benefits costs $100 for a copay. Under the new plan, it would be $0. A doctor's office, I believe, is $10 or $15. That under this plan would be $0. So it's definitely beneficial. And then including dental and vision, which has been asked for years, and we think that employees deserve it. We think it's attractive for recruiting and obviously retaining good employees. So it's something that obviously the city and city council is happy sharing in some of the savings that the taxpayers are going to see as part of this as well. So I really think overall a home run, because frankly, Cape May is far from the only municipality getting out-of-state health benefits. But I have been watching the other municipalities, and I think we're seeing, a very good savings and a very good package for the employees, too. So thank you, kudos. With that, any other comments?
Mayor,
Yeah, let's, before we vote on it, we'll open it up to the public on this resolution. Go ahead, Dennis, please.
Dennis Crowley, 806 Lafayette Street. And before I begin, let me just, Paul, the marriage analogy is a little incomplete because there's a lot of other things you need to do to consummate a marriage. But we won't go into that right now.
contract, though.
I'm chairman of the MTRAC and also a taxpayer, and I just briefly comment that the health benefits move you're making tonight is a smart move, and it's a well-done process. It's the kind of process that MTRAC was designed to encourage, and we weren't involved in this issue, but we do commend you for applying a comprehensive and well-rounded process. And just as an afternote, Seattle City just did the same thing last night, so everybody's realizing that this is a smart move. So, well done. Thank you.
Thank you.
Stacy Shan, 928 Columbia Avenue. I guess my question would be just for Mr. Gillenschwartz. Can you explain why we didn't have to go out to RFP for the insurance like we do for other contracts?
There's an exception in the local public contracts law, which is actually referenced in this resolution, but it's for things, insurance coverage, this type of thing. Allows the municipality to go out, and because it's considered an extraordinary unspecifiable service is the legal term. But it's a specific exemption in the local public contracts law.
Okay, because I know a lot of people like see us going out to bid for things, yet we didn't go out for that. So I thought they had.
And truth be told, some towns do go out for RFPs for things like this, but just like professional services, the town has the opportunity and option to do it. But in this case, we're running up on a time crunch to get this done, and seeing the vast increase in cost of staying the course. So I think the informal process was used here just from timing standpoint.
Okay.
But I think as Councilman McDade stated, we worked with two different brokers, pulling in multiple quotes from multiple insurance carriers. So we did, even though it wasn't a formalized process, we did informally receive, 3 or 4, I'll say, individual quotes from different insurance companies regarding the different plans. So we did.
So it was in effect that.
It was comprehensive process that we did.
Okay,
review.
thank you.
Jules' house, not to beat this to death, but were you able to negotiate a minimum increase in the forthcoming years with a maximum increase over a period of time?
It doesn't work that way in healthcare, Mr. Roush. It really is market-driven, and it's experience-driven. So they'll look at the claims experience for the prior 2 years when they set the rates for the next year.
Okay.
That's just the way health insurance works.
Thank you.
Anyone else on this resolution? Seeing none, we'll close public comment. I have a motion and a second, right?
We do, Mayor, yes.
Anything else, council? Roll call?
Councilmember Yeager?
Yes.
Councilmember Meyer?
Yes.
Councilmember McDade?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Baldwin? Yes. Mayor Mullick?
Yes.
All right, and finally, we have 294-10, 2024, a resolution amending the scheduled council meeting date for the year 2024.
Do I have a motion?
I'll make the motion.
Motion?
I'll
Do I have
second.
a second? And just again, this is for the public, and we will have this on the website. This is moving the scheduled November 6th council meeting to October 29th. So that'll be 2 weeks from today. We will have a council meeting on October 29th at 5 PM.
Yes, sir.
Any questions or comments, council? Roll call?
Councilmember Yeager?
Yes.
Councilmember Meyer?
Yes.
Councilmember McDade?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Baldwin?
Yes.
Mayor Mulk?
Yes.
All right, on to new business.
New business? Any new business? City solicitor?
Nothing tonight, Mayor, thank you.
City manager?
Nothing this night.
City clerk?
I do tonight. I will be quick. So we have a number of Halloween festivities coming up. We have the Halloween Parade on October 20th. At 1:30 is the registration at Perry Street in Lafayette. The parade begins at 3. Trick or Treat Night is Thursday, October 31st from 5 to 8 p.m. A portion of Washington Street will be closed for the safety of the trick-or-treaters from Jefferson to Union, correct, Chief? Yes. Perfect. On to election information. We have early voting is starting October 26th through November 3rd. The closest early voting location is in Lower Township at the library, 2600 Bayshore Road in the Villas. We have vote by mail applications. To apply by mail, the deadline is October 29th, 7 days prior to the election. In-person applications at the county clerk's office deadline is Monday, November 4th at 3 p.m. Election day is obviously the November 5th. Polls will be open from 6 a.m. to 8 p.m. We've already discussed moving the council meeting date. Oh, and ending on good news, you'll notice the Deputy Clerk, Brian Turner, is not here today. He and his wife welcomed a new baby on November 3rd, their 4th child, a baby boy, Bennett Jack Turner, and everybody's doing very well. So I just wanted to say congratulations, and he'll be back in a couple weeks. He's enjoying newborn cuddles.
That's great.
And that's it,
Congratulations,
Council.
Brian.
Congratulations.
Very cool. Okay, council members, Deputy Mayor?
Just a reminder, Jazz Festival is in 2 weeks. And that's it, Mayor. Thank you.
Okay. Councilmember McDade?
Just real quickly, I just wanted to thank Deputy City Manager Justin Riggs. He's been working with me outreach to Atlantic City Electric. We're looking at the lawn utility boxes down in the Village Green area and trying to get those areas cleared out from a lot of overgrowth and vegetation. And so we walked the area the last couple blocks, and he's been reaching out diligently to the Atlantic City reps, and we're finally making some headway. So thank you, Justin, for your efforts. I know it's taken a little bit of time, but we will finally get there, I hope. So thank you.
Councilmember Meyer?
Yes, thanks, Mayor. I think the only thing I have is a little update from the Shade Tree Commission. Under the direction of the city manager, the city received a grant for lantern flies, $20,000, and we've created a subcommittee to discuss of how we can better educate the public, not just about the lantern flies and that you should kill them when you see them, but there's a tree called Tree of Heaven, which dovetails into the lantern flies. It's their natural home, and that's where they, I guess, lay their eggs. So we're also looking around town to see if there's any properties with Tree of Heaven located, and coming up ways to work with the public to help them remove them from their properties.
Councilman Meyer, is the picture of the Tree of Heaven on the website or anything, or could we do that, or?
That's part of, we're
Okay.
working with Shade Tree,
Okay.
and they're going to, I think, that subcommittee is going to kind of put together a promotional package and
Okay.
outreach package that we're going to do to, social media, website, print media, and.
Would be helpful. I mean, I could send it out in the Village Green newsletter, but would like to be able to direct people where to go look,
That's.
to be able to see something.
We should have something ready for the public, the next Shade Tree Commission meeting.
Okay, great, thanks.
It grows like a weed. It's like, everybody would recognize it when you see it. It's like always in it's one of those trees that's the first thing that grows in like a empty field or whatever. You see, yeah,
And there's a specific way to remove it, so
Yeah.
you can't just pull it out.
right. Councilmember Yeager?
Nothing tonight, Mayor, thank you.
Thank you. I just, I was trying to look up, actually, I think I just missed the other day, the Greater Cape May Historical Society celebrating 50 years, but congratulations to them. Of course, that's their offices right out here at the Colonial House, which is wonderful. If you get a chance to take a look, the history that they have is pretty incredible. I have nothing further with that. We'll open it up for public comment. Anyone wishing to speak, please come to the microphone, state your name and address.
Two little items that frankly, I
Sir,
forgot.
name and address, please, sir.
Jules Roush.
Thank
10
you.
years. Thank you. In the bills, there was a DEP permit for $4,750. What was that for, please? $4,750?
I'd have to double check. I think it's for the site remediation fee change. Hang on, let me look it up again.
That's all it said in the bills, Paul, was New Jersey Treasurer, DEP permit.
Do you want to ask your second question while he looks it up?
I would have to go pull the actual physical bill to look at, but I believe it's for a site remediation fee.
And the other question was, there was a payment made of $35,681 to CME for a desal EPA grant. Is that a fee that we paid them to prepare the grant?
No, it's just billed under, it's a grant line that we got, if you recall, they helped us apply for a $600,000 grant from the EPA that's helped funding the preliminary design of the desalination plant.
Well, that
And
was
it's just charged under that line.
Okay, so this was funds that the city received?
No, we received $600,000, but
Right,
we're paying
that's some time
CME
ago.
out of that $600,000.
Okay.
So if you see, let me pull, I'll have to look at I don't know what page that's on. Oh, it doesn't, but that line's that's being paid out of the grant line.
That's all. Thank you.
Okay, come on up.
Okay.
Good evening.
Hi, good evening. Charlotte Todd, 1308 Cape May Avenue,
Hello,
Cape
Charlotte.
May City. And tonight, as I look at all of you who are serving us so well here in the city of Cape May, I think about a role that I hold on the Environmental Commission, and that is a historian. So I have been with the commission for almost 40 years. And I feel that it's an opportune time to talk to you about the Cape May Harbor. And I'd like to do a little bit of that tonight.
Please.
So, to start with, we have a Green Acres program which preserves open space throughout the state of New Jersey. It's referenced by statute 13:8C-24. And within the Department of Environmental Protection, it serves many purposes and has many projects that receive funding for the conservation purposes. Therefore, we know ROSI, the Rossi list, as a result of this program. And it has helped to purchase many sites here in the city of Cape May. And in the end of the 1980s, a massive development was proposed for the land surrounding Cape May Harbor. In that proposal by the developers, there were at least 300 boat slips proposed, condominiums, marinas, shops, a restaurant, all which would have impacted amazing nature area. And to look at that proposal at that time, a group of local citizens plus our Environmental Commission took into account that this proposed development might not be suitable for the city of Cape May. And one of the reasons we cited was the lack of drinking water, we were just starting with needing a desal plant. And we knew that boaters, in particular, need to wash their boats quite frequently, and that would have been from our aquifer. So therefore, the Environmental Commission and a group of citizens did take on this project, and for 2 years we were in a lawsuit. At the end of the lawsuit, there were some compromises, and the compromises included one portion, a very large portion, for some housing, and another portion for environmental education. At this time, the statewide Green Acres program came forward along with the city, and the Green Acres folks did partner with the city to purchase this particular area on which we now have a nature center. And I have to say that I am very, very interested in Green Acres. They have so many partners that we would recognize, at least 35 partners, and I won't read them all to you. But certainly, U.S. Fish and Wildlife are an amazing group, and they partner with Green Acres, as well as many other well-known groups. Within our master plan, which we update every 10 years, we have one area that we've listed and continue to list, that the Environmental Commission has expressed interest in reducing the intensity of the harbor use. The Commission recommends permitting only natural vegetation as an erosion control method, and no further housing or commercial development in the harbor area, and that an opportunity for living shorelines be given to that area. It's also recommended by the Environmental Commission that safe access to the harbor be created on a very small scale in terms of a small pedestrian ramp, so that a portion of this harbor remains as peaceful a wetlands area, encouraging fish and wildlife nurseries, and in the end remains a resource protecting our birding and fishing industries. Further, if you want to look at the Rossi list, and we have in our booklets that we keep all of those listings, you would know that the Rossi list includes Rotary Park, Colonial House Park, Lafayette Street Playground, the Harry Lazur Park, Physica State Park, William Moore Tennis Club, Massachusetts Avenue Mini Park, Pennsylvania and Massachusetts Mini Park, Indiana and Missouri Mini Park, open space median of the Cape May Avenue between Madison and Pittsburgh Avenues, Fisherman's Memorial, Delaware Avenue, beachfront, and then it goes on to list all of the beachfront areas that we have within the city, Harborview Park, and the Cape May City Nature Center. So I think that's important from time to time, just to bring you a little history, and that's what I intended to do tonight.
Charlotte, I really appreciate it, and it is important because I at least pride myself on trying to know Cape May history, and I always remember to not, I get corrected too often to consider myself a historian of Cape May, but I did not know the genesis of the Nature Center in regards to that lawsuit. That's pretty amazing, and thank you.
You're welcome.
And thank you for your 40 years of service to the Environmental Commission, Charlotte. And I think it's an important reminder of all of the efforts that people have put into making Cape May a wonderful community and protecting our environment. So truly, Charlotte, thank you. And Mike Yeager, as the liaison to the Environmental Commission, I thank you and the commission for your efforts over these years, too. You know, Charlotte did touch on the living shoreline. I know you did give a little bit of an update. Would you mind, I know you don't have a new one, but where we're at?
I think the plans were reaching the final stage with the Army Corps, and I think over the next 12 months that we should see that project out to bid.
So we actually should see that project finally out to bid, Charlotte, the living shoreline on Delaware. And we all know,
Well,
anyone who's looked at that area, it's very necessary.
Though I don't know if I would consider, it's not a true living shoreline. It does have, it's more of a, you know, because of the nature of it, I think it's not a true living shoreline where it's all nature-based. It does have some riprap stone edge to it, so it's not a true living shoreline in that pure respect.
Mm-hmm. Thank you. Anyone else this evening?
Stacy Shan, 928 Columbia. I know I had brought this up before about putting the box back for payment for water and tax payments.
Yeah, I've talked to the tax collector, and at this, you know, we might reevaluate it after the paving's done, but at this time, you know, we moved the box over on top, on the side of the building, and she hasn't had a call, or, you know, nobody's been requesting to add it out there.
Well, I think I got up here before and asked for it, so I did have an ask, because I did
Well,
ask for it.
but
And the thing
one-
is because when people come, they don't have ability to park all the time, and the people that are handicapped can't get out of the car, walk over and put it, and it's not in the paving area, it's actually in the dirt area is where the thing was before. And people could just pull up, put their payment in for water and sewer, and for tax collection. I think it was very helpful for people that didn't want to get out of their cars, couldn't find a place to park, and that they could pay their bills on time.
Thank you.
Okay. Well,
I mean, before when I
I'd
was
like
up
to see
here,
it
it
come
was
back.
said
I
that
hear you.
you were going to put it back. So that's why I'm up here again, because
Okay.
it hasn't been put back.
I never said it was going to get put back. I said we'd evaluate it and take a look, but I never said it was, I didn't say that it was ever going to that it was going back.
Oh, I think well, my recollection was, it was said it was going to be put back. And just so for the record, it was asked to be put back, because I'm
never
asking.
said it wasn't.
People approach me, and that's why I'm here voicing their opinion on certain things that they have issues with. So just because it's me doesn't mean it's just coming from me. I can get out of my car easily, but there's other people that can't park and get out of their cars and walk. And the reason why it was moved was because of the construction of the firehouse. Now the firehouse is back from construction. We're only asking for a box to be put out there that was there before and make it easier on the public.
Okay.
anyone else? Good evening, Roz.
Hello, Roz Johnson, 826 Lafayette Street. My question has to do with the money that the city is getting for the lanternfly control. Are the residents that are taking down trees that are hosts to the lanternfly, will they be eligible to receive any of this money?
It's one of the avenues that we're looking at, yes, is to help residents pay for the removal of Tree of Heaven, yes.
And
But it has to be done, it can't be, oh, I removed the Tree of Heaven and here's my receipt. It's got to be coordinated through the Shade Tree Commission, because there is a specific process of taking down a Tree of Heaven, because if you just go up to it and cut at the trunk,
no.
there's a specific process. That's why if we do that process, it's going to be coordinated through the Shade Tree Commission, and that's why they're developing a subcommittee to kind of develop how they want to take care of that.
Roz, can I say?
Okay, because I do have a neighbor who did get an estimate. It was something like $6,800 to take down because she has several of these trees on her property, and she was told that the city was not going to give her any assistance.
Roz, I'd be happy to talk to you separately. on
Okay,
that
sure.
one. To be blunt, the tree of life is almost not a tree. I mean, they do get big, but they're like, almost like a very big weed,
Yeah,
more
they're
bushy
huge.
than
Yeah.
a tree you might think of. But in any event, I'd be happy to help you offline on
Okay.
that. And one question I do have, Mr. Meyer, I think it was West Cape May was giving out traps as part of the use of that grant. Do we plan on doing that next year? I know that they're
Well,
basically
that's,
dead
I
now.
mean, that's why the Shade Tree Commission's looking at, what is the best use of that money and how to utilize that money.
Yeah, right. Okay, good. Yeah. The main thing is identifying this in the spring, and I think we should have a campaign for that, but I'll be happy to talk to you about that.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
My second question is, have you considered a town hall meeting? I know you said you're going to think about it.
We were going to add it to the agenda of the.
Right. I understand why that probably
yeah.
isn't a good idea.
So let me just say this, before December, we will have one.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you very much.
We considered adding it to the New Jersey PACT rules plus flood insurance.
Yeah,
It just thought it might be too much.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Stacy Sheehan, 928 Columbia. Real quick, I guess it's for you, Paul. When is your department and Kevin going to hold that public meeting where people can come in and see what the department heads want for budgets?
I'd have to take a look at it. We're still evaluating the schedules, but it might have to slide to the first week in December, just based on conference schedules and the holidays.
Okay, just so it will be,
It'll be advertised.
Just advertised.
Yeah, we'll have an announcement at the next meeting.
okay, because I know the last meeting you were thinking about having in October, and that's why I was asking, because I haven't seen it on the website.
Yeah. We've been looking at, I think it's going to slide to the first week of December.
Okay, and Aaron, you'll have that advertised on the website when that comes around?
Yeah, once
Okay.
they solidify a date, we'll have it out well in advance.
Thank you.
I'm Laurie Buck, 911 Cullen Avenue. I've noticed so many improvements around town. I love living in this town, so I want to thank the council
you.
for that. I just have one question. I think I asked it about a year ago, and I think I saw something about it in the paper. It sort of concerns Lower Township and the crosswalk there in front of Lucky Bones to Lobster House.
Yeah, the state,
It's the state, are they?
the buttons, they
Cool.
approved it.
They did, okay.
I talked to the Mike Laffey, Township Administrator in Lower Township, and he said that they've been working on it, and I think they're just trying to go through the DOT bureaucratic process.
Okay, so it is still
The
moving
State
forward. It's
Department of
just-
Transportation, but they approved it and approved payment of it, but.
Right.
Yeah,
And the last time I talked to Mr. Laffey, that the DOT moves very, very slowly, and it's just stuck in their process. So, next time we talk to them, we'll try to get an update, but.
Okay. Are they going to, at the same time they do that, maybe position those guardrails that are similar in front of Ducky's on Seashore to have the traffic coming out of Lobster House? Again, I know it's Lower Township, but so they make a right, because I've seen so many almost accidents with people coming out of Lucky Bones, trying to cross over, and the people making the illegal left.
I mean, your best bet is to reach out to Mr. Laffey or
Okay.
Lower Township.
All right, I wasn't
About
sure
that
if was
specific
all
one.
sort of,
No.
if anybody knew. Okay, all right, thank you.
Thank you, and thank you for the idea previously, because otherwise I don't think that would have happened, so thank you. Anyone else this evening? Seeing none, motion to adjourn? Thank you, everyone. The time is now 6:17. Have a wonderful evening, everyone. Thank you.
Gentlemen? I think it's in my truck.
are you? How's it going? Good, good, good. How many more rambles are you going to be doing? Do you know?